Hello, hello, dear viewer. How are you? I hope you are well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join with us once again to talk, share, and inspire. You are in the right place. Please don't change the channel and share this with your friends so that we may all learn and be inspired at the end of this conversation. I am your host, Erica Okeo, and as always, it's a pleasure to have you join with me. So today we are going to talk about entrepreneurship. Let me read something that I just discovered. You see, according to the World Bank, that 80% of businesses in Africa fail within the first 5 years. This rate is significantly higher than the global average. That is sad. And then to even make it worse, the African Development Bank highlights that about 70 to 80% of small medium enterprises fail within the first 2 years of operation. Like, it's already predicted that as you're beginning your business, it's going to fail. That's quite sad. I am a victim of a failed business, but I am joined here with a panel of people who have done business and have succeeded. And they are going to share with us their experience. And if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, it is my hope that after this conversation, you will pick at least 1, 2, or 3 tips to include in your business to make it win. So without further ado, allow me to introduce my very lovely, successful entrepreneurs. Yes, Adam, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Santi.
Sharon, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, I'll start with you, Adam. Introduce yourself and tell us what you do if you're not inspiring people.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me this morning. My name is Sam Adam Were, and I've been in this entrepreneurship journey for the past 8 years.
Wow. So you've passed the mark of
I've
failed
passed the
business.
mark. Yes. So I've passed the 5-year mark. Hopefully there is no any other research that they have done to say
For 10 years.
10 years. Yeah. So I would say that I've been in the business, first registered my organization in 2016.
Maybe you can just pause it there, because now we want to go to the juice, to the story.
Cool.
Yes, thank you so much, Sharon.
Hi, I'm Sharon Maswai, Sharon Chepchirchir Maswai. Yeah. I've been in business for 3 years. So I think I should still be worried.
But at
because
least
I'm under the 5-year mark.
you passed the African Development.
So I'm kind of safe.
You're safe.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So yeah, probably I'll go back to you, Sam. Please share with us your entrepreneurship journey. Maybe you could also tell us, what do you do? Like, what kind of enterprise do you run? Where did you start it? Yeah. Take us through your journey.
So I run an organization by the name Extreme Delight Solutions, which deals purely with security solutions.
Okay.
And this is what we call physical security all the way to network security, which is the cyber security issues. And in terms of physical security, we're talking about access control, CCTV, bomb detectors, the barriers, everything that you can imagine within the security space.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
You see, every time I go to a hotel, I'm given a key card and they ask me to touch, and then but if I put it close to my phone, it won't work.
Yes.
So that's the kind of security.
Yes.
And even bomb detectors.
Yes.
Hey, bro, hey.
So we start with a very complex one, which people are used to, the CCTV, which we see within our buildings. And it gets as complex as possible. I mean, the hotel locks solutions that you're talking about, those are meant to add value to the hotel owners, but also ensure that the guest is secure inside the rooms. Should anything happen, then you have a way of having an audit trail on what exactly transpired. So that is what we do as Extreme Delight Solution. However, this was not the case 8 years ago when we started off. I'll tell you that
that is what you do now.
Yes,
that's not what you started.
Yes, that's what we set out to. That's not what we set out to do.
Please shock us.
Yes. So we all aspire to be better, and in all spheres, be it spiritual, be it financial, in any other way that you want to make it in life. And so the immediate one is financial, especially when you're coming out of high school. So I set off to do a business And when I registered, first I registered the company. I did not know exactly what I wanted to do. And back then I had a partner who was also part of the business. Would I say maybe 40 years older than myself?
Oh, wow.
Yes. So this was my partner.
Ambitious.
Yeah, so we were two partners, and we only knew that we had to do something. So when we started off, we were looking at getting into the construction space and doing specifically sanitary wares, which is the kitchen outfits and everything. And it went as far as us traveling out of the continent to go and do some research.
Wow.
Yes, because I was in my
serious.
last year of campus. So took a trip to China, went for a whole 2 or 3 weeks to try and
Your
assess.
last year of campus.
Yes.
You had
What are we doing? You had a passport.
You had a passport.
Yeah.
And you knew how to register a business.
Hey, Sam, we don't know you.
Yeah, so we went through the whole thing and then we came back, but then again, capital was an issue.
Okay.
Capital became an issue and it slowed down. So eventually it seemed like the thing was dying off. But the papers and the company was still in form of a paper. And immediately after campus, I would say I was lucky enough to land a job. I think I got my employment letter in February and I was graduating in June. Yeah, so then I kept the business on the side.
Okay, so you kept the business on the side. You still went ahead with employment.
Yes.
Because it looked as though this thing is just on paper. It's not
Yes,
working.
yes, and
Because of capital.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
We'll actually go back to that when you are talking about some of the challenges that people encounter as they try to run their businesses.
Yes.
Yeah. So over to you, Sharon. Tell us, what do you do?
First, let me just say, I'm being impressed by Sam, and I know him. I'm like, we didn't know this. What? Mom did what? Yeah, so I have a t-shirt shop. We operate from Nairobi, Kenya, but we service the better part of East Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda.
Say it with more confidence.
With chest, yeah? With chest. Yeah, we are based in Nairobi, Kenya, but we serve the entire Kenya, of course, and then Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda as well.
Okay.
So we just don't do t-shirts. We do sweatshirts, hoodies. We've since branched out to other branding ventures as well, not just limited to t-shirts, sweatshirts, tote bags, and those sorts of things. Yeah, I've been operating for 3 years. When I first set out to start this business, it wasn't supposed to be anything serious. It was just supposed to give me pocket money. You get to an age where you no longer feel comfortable asking for pocket money.
Yes.
At your 25, you're asking, can I please send me 1,000? I need to go for lunch due to what, Yeah, so my biggest motivation at the time was to have some sort of financial independence, and then as a creative outlet. So I was doing my postgrad at the time, and I was doing it with another program. So I knew for a fact I wouldn't be able to hold a 9-to-5 job. So I wanted something light, something that wouldn't take up much of my time. Yeah, so it came, and that totally changed. It ended up taking over my life, but I'm actually grateful for that. But at that time, it felt as though it was something that wouldn't take much of my time. I'd be able to do business and still do school. And I was doing 2 schools at the time. So 2 schools plus a business. Didn't feel like it was going to take up much of my time, but it has grown. So now it's what I do full time. Yeah.
Okay. Just for anyone who's wondering, I'm sure you've seen Sharon. Yeah, please take out your hand so that we can see.
Oh.
Yes. So she's wearing one of her merchandise. It's actually, wow, it has a very nice...
It has a nice lamp.
It's actually a nice lamp, and that's a
nice
verse.
message.
Yeah, he left the 99 to find me. Yeah. So anytime you see, when you see any kind of merchandise, any printed t-shirts and mugs and things like that, that is what Sharon does.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and she's been doing that for 3 years. That's very amazing. And as I was trying to understand what Sam does, any kind of security system, be it at the hotels, at home, CCTVs, yeah, all that kind of thing. That is what they do. I'm trying to think if I have tried. Yes, I'm currently in business.
Yes.
I'm in consultancy. I do training and development, but I've had a number. I have fallen in the statistics of failed businesses. Yeah, I've tried a
We all
food
have.
business at some point.
Yeah.
I tried to cook some chapatis and mandazis. Chapatis are like, how I'm trying to explain chapatis
They're
for
like
anyone.
roti.
Yes, like roti.
Naan. That family.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're in that family. I tried that. It failed, of course, after some minutes, so I fall in the statistics. Yeah, so the other thing I wanted us to talk about, but you've actually mentioned it, Sharon, and I think you've also mentioned it, like what's inspired you to venture into that business? What inspired you was finances, right? Same to you, or is it different?
Well, I would say, the need to have financial freedom is normally the number one inspiration. However, it does not sustain you to be there.
Oh,
that's for sure.
Wow, tell us about that.
Because as I said, initially we started wanted to do sanitary wear. Then I got employed. Still, employment was not as fulfilling. Yes, employment would pay my bills. So the financial freedom wasn't there, but I could be able to meet my financial needs. While in employment, I would walk to work, have my coat in the seat, then go to Westlands to do
You are
printing
those
job.
people that they talk about.
Exactly. So I got into branding business. And now I was branding people's offices. I was doing, the t-shirts you're talking about, the printing. And so over time, I realized I was spending more time doing branding
Business,
than employed as an IT support in government. So I worked again for 9 months, and me being me, I quit and left, thinking life would be easier out there. It wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's always, while you have the inspiration to have the financial freedom, it will not keep you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel that for you to succeed as an entrepreneur, there's the need for financial freedom, but then there's also the aspect of, are you passionate about what you're doing? The passion is what keeps now the entrepreneurship to stick. Because then I went back and I was able to realize that my background academically is computer science. So I had to put that into practice together with my need for financial freedom. When I combine these two, that's why now 8 years down the line, we are where we are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we actually go, because that is already, you're already like giving a strategy for you to have a successful venture, is to like get into something that you're passionate about. At least I get from Sharon that you're passionate about being a creative.
Yeah.
So having to design t-shirts with different names and prints is, you bringing out your
enjoy it,
creative, your passion in being creative. But then maybe just to touch a bit, what are some of the challenges that you guys have encountered? Maybe Sharon could mention like 3 and then Adam.
Yeah. So I think the first one was the first challenge, and I think this was the heaviest, was learning to relinquish control. I didn't know I needed to be in control of every aspect of my business until I started. So I really had difficulty letting someone else take over. So, when you're starting out, I'm a sole proprietorship. So when I was starting out, you do everything. You're the accountant, you're the content creator, you're the social media manager, you're the marketing expert, you're the analyst, you're the CEO, you're the designer. So I was doing all these things, and according to me, I was doing them well, So it was very difficult to let someone in to come and take over some of all the many hats that I was wearing. So it was, I think we've even talked about this before, it was even a prayer point, as in letting someone do correspondence with clients for me, or letting someone do social media management for me, or letting a marketing expert advise me on the best way to actually do marketing. That was so difficult, and it's something that I honestly didn't see the day that I would ever let go of any of these things. But
before you actually go far, that's very interesting, because when I was like in my business, if there's something that I have wished for, is to delegate, to get to a point where everyone just does everything, and then I take in the money. I only just get, I'm like, oh, this is what happened, someone to give reports. So it's interesting to actually learn that that was a challenge for you to relinquish control. Are you in business? What are some of the challenges you have encountered? Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, you could let us know in the comment section. Or we also have a WhatsApp number that is displayed. You can just message us. Has this been your challenge, or you faced different challenges from those ones? Yeah, I think you Have you also encountered other challenges?
Yeah, I have. The other thing is the existence of scammy businesses. That
Okay.
businesses that are actually set up to scam people. The fact that they exist
Yes.
is actually a challenge to us.
Oh.
Yeah, because
How is that?
Clients, because they've been scammed before, and most of small businesses, at least in Nairobi or in Kenya, they operate from like they're online businesses, or even if they have like a physical location, they still start from like they start the business from online, right? People have been scammed before, and therefore they're skeptical about trusting a business that where they start the process online. If they didn't walk into your shop to buy, if they started by like say ordering online, they're a bit skeptical because they think this will end up like their past experiences.
Okay.
So they are skeptical and apprehensive about shopping from small businesses that are not established as like the bigger names. Yeah, so for us, anytime we may start the ordering process, we get to a point maybe where they need to do a deposit, and suddenly someone is like, I can't pay, I'm not going to pay something that I've not seen. But for a business model, we need the deposit to actually operate, right? So we've all been lumped into this category where we all come off as scammers when we are not. So we are losing out on potential businesses with people that are skeptical of being scammed because they think that we are all scammers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite interesting. As someone who was almost scammed, as someone who almost bought an existential furniture, I get it. So the next time you see another shop that
I
sells
don't
something
blame
like
them
that,
by
like,
the-
I'm not doing that. Yes. What are some of the challenges 8 years is quite a long time.
Yeah, I think the most common one that most people would fall into is the need for capital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
capital.
good number of us want to start big. And when you want to start big, for instance, we took a whole trip to China, which was not cheap. Yeah, which was not cheap. And then you come back, and remember, when you're meeting these people, you're giving them a lot of confidence that you're able to invest in the business. And it's not, I mean, you're not going to probably import maybe a box of tiles or marble tiles from China. You definitely have to do like a whole container.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money.
Yes.
So when you look at it, capital becomes one of the biggest hurdles that you have to find a way of going past. Okay? That's one. Two, the other common challenge that I found is the bureaucracy in setting up an organization. And this comes from the government of our different countries. When you realize you have to, the registration process, it's quite tedious and it's not straightforward. You need to take a long route before you're able to even have registration of a company. Then the tax issues that are within your area of operations. Everyone is looking at, as a small business, everyone is looking at getting money off you.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody is creating a platform of say, here is how you need to make the money.
Yeah.
So your business is not being supported.
Yeah.
But there's just everyone wants to take. I mean, I've been to different markets, for instance, the Rwandan market, and you find the government is very friendly to encourage startups, and they really push them to make it better. But there's some other markets, like for instance, where we exist in, where it's quite a challenge that you have to find how to navigate, before you stand on your footing. Yeah.
So there's capital, there's taxes. On this other end is how do you like relinquish roles? Like how do you let go and let other people take it? How do you deal with scam business? And these are things I'm sure you guys have found ways of mitigating or passing over. So I'd like for you guys to share that one. How have you, probably let's start with you, Sharon, how have you overcome the challenges that you encountered, and what would you tell someone who is in the same line of business or someone who would want to start business? Yeah, lessons you learned from the challenges, yes.
Okay, so for the relinquishing control bit, I actually had to step back and see how it was affecting me. It was affecting me mentally. I've had so many burnouts before I actually realized, oh, this is the reason. Yeah, sometimes we'd have sales, and during sales we sometimes get 5 times the number of orders we usually get. And remember, you're everything to the company. So you're the one taking orders, you're the one overseeing the printing, you're the one overseeing the dispatch, following up with the riders. You know, it's a lot. So I actually became alive to the fact that it was actually hurting me. Mentally, I was overwhelmed. I was experiencing so many burnouts. So what I decided, I said I would start small. You can't you can't let go of everything at once. So say if you are the social media manager, you're the content creator, you're the marketer, perhaps relinquish those, the ones that can actually would not be detrimental to your business. So for example, if the role of, say, quality control is something that you still hold dear, perhaps you could relinquish content creation. You could relinquish you know, social media management. Perhaps you could relinquish the dispatch part of things, dispatching the orders, let that be someone else. So how I learned to let go was starting small and letting go of the things that you're a bit more comfortable with. And once you do, I realized I didn't die. I thought I would die. The first day I kept on checking on my social media, how is it going, you know. And I realized I didn't die. So it gave me confidence to let go of more things. To the point that I'm left with like the crucial things, the things that really, really need me. I'm doing those because, in all honesty, the people that are actually experts in those things. There's someone that is actually an accountant. Where are you struggling to do mathematics and taxes and what? And there's someone that is actually good at it.
That's very interesting because we've had a conversation also on managing work-life balance. It's good that you saw how it was affecting you, for you to like just get that courage to let it go. I don't know if you have anything to add quickly as we also like come to the tail end, Adam.
I think for instance, when you talk about capital, earlier on I'd say that if you're able to couple up the passion and your technical capacity and the need for the finances, then you're able to find a breakthrough. For instance, today we are a regional organization doing security systems, but we did not start from there. I mean, when I realized that we had to move now, we started with doing simple installations. The 100,000 job, the 200,000.
It's interesting because just the same, start small.
Yes. So the 100,000, the 200,000, before you know it, it builds to $1 million. And now you are able to, you must also know at what point to get back to the real thing. Because while this is temporary, to get you to some point. And I'll say for the 8 years, we've not borrowed any money. So we've started small and build up over time. And the money that we built now, we realize now we are good to get to a bit where we now need to focus, which is the design, the consultancy, and the implementation. Again, we have a niche of market that we want to meet. We are not taking up a job that is below $1 million. So we've identified our niche in the market, and above $1 million is what we would do. So we're now back there.
But you've taken time to actually
get there.
Exactly, exactly. So we did not lose sight of the focus. And then the other thing is when you talk about these other challenges like tax and all these regulations that are there, I say that build on your social community because there are people within your community that are able to offer you some of this guidance at a way lower fee than what the market rate is. So if you have the right community, then they're able to support you because they share in your vision. You've drawn this in their mind and they have seen what is supposed to be the end game and they're willing to work with you as friends. Of course, you should always also lend a hand when you have the opportunity to lend somebody else a hand.
And you guys, I'm sure when you started, there are skills or qualities that you had or you have learned along the way. So I want you to quickly share, what are some of the skills you think an entrepreneur should have?
I think for me, I think patience. I think you mentioned something that has iterated the fact that Rome wasn't built in a day. You will have quiet months, quiet years even. You know, for me, I think in the first 6 to 7 months, I only sold 4 t-shirts. 4 t-shirts. To give context, it's like I was selling a t-shirt every 1.5 months. You know, and it, you know, I had to be patient and trust the process. And believe like, eventually we'll get to like the big numbers. But I think the mistake that most people make is believing that you will start and immediately you'll be overwhelmed by sales.
You'll be getting calls.
You're getting calls. You can't keep your phone down. But I would say Rome wasn't built in a day, so just trust the process and the patience will actually keep you going when it doesn't seem like anything is happening in the business. And then also grit. It will. I know sometimes people are like, oh, I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5 so that I do business, so that I have a bit more free time. Eventually you might get there, but at the building stage you will need to put in sometimes more work. You'll be working 24/7. Okay, to a Sabbath. When you set aside the Sabbath, you'll be working for 6 days. Like you'll find yourself working every single day, and when you're not actively working, you're strategizing. Your mind doesn't rest, at least in the building stages. So you will need grit to actually get through the building stage of the relationship of the business, before you start reaping the fruits of the work that you put in.
So it could be even most business fail because we lack resilience and grit and patience. We give up too fast.
Too fast,
You know?
yeah.
Like this, Sam, for example, had to put things aside, go back to your 9 to 5, get
Then
into
come back
branding,
again.
and then now get back and actually find out what was I really passionate about in the set. So Sam, maybe very quickly, some of the skills you have learned that you think every entrepreneur should cultivate.
I think one is you must be a risk taker. That too goes without saying.
Risk management.
Yeah,
Yes.
you must know, and you must know which risks are valid
Okay.
and which ones are not, because not every risk is a risk at the end of the day. So you must identify them clearly and pick on the ones that you can take that will not kill you, because there are those that might kill you as well. So once you identify and take them up, then you're able to move on smoothly. The other bit is I've noted that for you to be an entrepreneur, there's what we call entrepreneurship, and there's people assume self-employment is entrepreneurship. It's not. These are two different things. Entrepreneurship is you identifying a gap in the market. Once you identify the gap, then you come up with a unique solution. Most of us Africans, I like the statistics you gave earlier of how why we're failing before the 5 years. Reason being that we are not offering continuity. So an entrepreneur must offer a solution that offers continuity.
Thank you so much, guys. We have come to the tail end of this conversation. Of course, 30 minutes was not enough to really dig deep into it. But this is what I'll leave with. God says, whosoever lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all men and upbraideth not. Tell God about it. He will show you how to go with your business. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you share this with your friends, and see you once again in another episode of Talk, Share and
Inspire.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.